As a guy with the best clearance rate in the department, worked 15 years without a promotion.
Maybe I didn't go to the right church.
When I look in your eyes, what I see, it ain't good.
He knew all the details, but he wasn't within 10 miles of the killing.
Why is that? Why is that?
How's the trunk space?
What do you want?
I want to nail the bastard.
For who?
For all of the girls he killed.
I want to nail him too. Difference is, I'm doing it for me. It's the little things, Jimmy. It's the little things that rip you apart. It's the little things that get you caught.
Movie sucked. Did you record that?
I got that, yes. It's going to be how it starts. Lamar said the movie sucks.
It stinks. It stinks.
It stinks. It stinks like,
Okay.
Stinks
Sucks,
like my dog.
stinks.
It's where it needs to be. I'll say that.
What do you
HBO
mean?
Max.
Oh.
It's on HBO Max for stream. How about this?
It didn't deserve HBO Max.
I watched it with Mom and Guy, and all I kept on hearing is, "Oh, don't go do her. Don't do that." Oh, he did. He did. And I was all like,
Really?
What parts of that?
like, you know, when Denzel Washington was going like towards the killer's house and like going inside to investigate or look for stuff.
Yeah.
Huh.
And they're like, "Oh, he's gonna catch him." You know, like they were, you know, I was.
You're
let's
those
just say
people.
I wasn't the blackest one in the room. Let's say that. Okay.
It's been a long time since I fell asleep on a movie. I fell asleep on this 4 times.
Really?
So did I, but I woke myself up because I heard. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm up.
You're like, what happened? What?
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't do that. I just woke up, kept telling Katrina like, I'm not making it. I was like, I can't do it.
I didn't think it was awful. I wouldn't say that. I gave it 3 stars. I saw Lamar gave it 1.5.
Yeah, because it wasn't all the way terrible, but it was terrible enough. So it wasn't all. It's like I liked Denzel's character, and I liked the big tooth guy. I like his character too, but the story was
How did you know?
Fucking.
How did you know
trash.
his tooth was big? He barely opened his mouth when he talked.
He always
He's
does this
because
thing
of the
like
overbite. No.
he always does this thing. And it's funny. It's funny because I thought he only did it for that movie. For the
I did too.
Bohemian
So
Rhapsody?
in here,
Yeah.
So in here, when
yeah.
he's doing it, I'm like, oh no, his teeth are really like that.
I said the same thing. I was like, oh, he actually has an overbite.
Yes, I thought it was a character.
Me too. So but,
He's doing it behind Tasha right now. Look at Tasha's picture. He's doing it right there.
His feature. He is behind mine. Well, you can't really see him. But
yeah, we
he's
can
probably
just
doing
see
the
his
same
forehead.
thing, too. Okay, yeah. I thought Denzel and Rami Malek were cool in it, but I did not care for what's his name, Jared Leto, as the psychopath or supposedly psychopath, or you know, the serial killer.
He seemed unnecessarily crazy.
Yeah, did you hear about that? How there's an article saying Denzel Washington didn't have time for Jared Leto's method acting.
No.
Like, I guess he's like basically saying, I got time for this shit. He probably was like, man, don't take this shit too serious. This is just a movie coming on HBO Max.
Yeah.
And you trying to get into it. You ain't gonna get nominated for this movie.
Like I said, it started off cool, but it dragged so fucking far.
I'll probably give it, if I were to give it a ranking, probably 2.5. So I'm between Lamar and Tasha. And the reason is because that ending, like whatever it went, it was going in a certain direction and then it just turned and went somewhere else. And I was like, man, maybe this could have been the full plot of the movie.
Right.
Or like, you know, introduced in the second half. Because, you know, I'm all for, I wasn't against it, but it was like for your ending where you didn't wrap up other things that I was kind of like wondering where it's going.
They didn't
and
wrap
you just
up
kind of
anything.
Nah. So that's where I was like, all right, fuck this.
Yeah.
Even with the at the end where they show why Denzel has been like banned from the city, it was like it wasn't what it was kind of lackluster. Like, so he accidentally killed the girl, but it was like, okay, so why? Not why, but it was like that's not enough. Like that's not that wasn't enough for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Did I miss something where like he killed like did the girl rush up on him or like what happened? Like because
He was investigating because he heard something in the bushes, so he's
and he
walking.
shot.
And she was she was kind of like running towards in his direction.
Yeah.
But it was dark, so I don't think she
Okay.
knew where she was going. And so when the light, he turned and shot her, and the light, went along too, and it showed who he shot. So
yeah, but then after that, it was like that's all that happened. So it's kind of like we get that it was covered up, but it was like that. Still, what does that have to do with the killer? Like, what did that have to do with the killer?
Yeah. And he was looking up an old file, right? An old case, right?
I think it was that case.
Yeah, it was that case. And I was like, I thought it was stupid. I was like, why the fuck would you want to go back to an old case, the one that you had a like you fucked up and you had somebody cover for you? So the last thing I would want to do is bring old shit right now until like I want to leave that shit in the past.
But it's move on. I understood why he wanted it because it's like he never forgave himself. He always wanted to solve that crime, and that's why he gave the big teeth guy the beret because he didn't want him to have those same like regrets. Because you can see he was suffering with it. Like I killed this guy, but I still don't know who the killer is. Yeah. So he kind of gave him the beret to be like, well, you found the killer, even though he really didn't find the killer.
Right. Or he doesn't know 100% that he found the killer.
Yeah. I mean, I think Denzel feels more guilty because this girl, I don't know what the fuck she was doing there in the first place. If she was a victim or they didn't really explain too much.
I think she was a victim that got away.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
She was with the girls. I think she was.
She almost got away.
Josh,
she almost got away.
This is the time for your jokes.
But no, what I was gonna say was when I first watched it, I was saying that what sucked about the movie was the fact that there was no closure.
Right.
Like the fact that we didn't know or get a hint at who the killer actually was.
Right.
But the second time around when I watched it, the movie itself wasn't bad, in my opinion. It's just that the ending was just like anticlimactic.
You watched it?
So I think.
Yeah. Is that why you give it 3 stars?
Well, because the movie wasn't bad. It just, the ending really just sucked. But
hey, you know what? Towards the end of the movie, I told Katrina this is your type of movie because you guys like shit like Law and Order. Like you can sit through this boring ass shit.
Yeah, so
the difference
it wasn't
is
boring to me.
Order, there's a
conclusion. It was to me, yeah. And I thought, okay, go ahead. I want to tell you how I felt about the beginning.
Go ahead.
All right. To me, I thought the beginning was pointless too. I didn't know what the hell that was. They made it seem like this girl getting chased by this car was going to have an important part.
Yeah.
And when she does come, it's just like, that's it.
I forgot about it.
So you take that beginning out of the movie, it doesn't affect it. Like she gets stopped by the truck or whatever, and I guess the truck wasn't. I don't know what happened. Like she got chased by the car in the beginning, and she gets away, and then the truck pulls up on her and it stops, and then later on you see her in like as one of the witness. Yeah. She's there. She, I guess they couldn't use her to like recognize him because she already saw him in the police station.
So her eyewitness testimony was tainted because they could say, well, you're only saying he's guilty because you saw him in handcuffs, not necessarily that you saw him that night. So I think the beginning was pointless in a way, but that's the part it played in the movie was she could have been a witness, but it got messed up because the lady detective didn't stay with her
plot device
while she was there. So
I'll say, yeah. I mean,
but the whole beginning scene was just like there was so much to it, and then
like, that's what I felt like. Yeah. I mean, through this movie, I'm seeing other movies that just do as far as like 2 cops trying to find like a serial killer. Like I've seen it done better in 7. And I'm not the
Hell
biggest
yeah.
fan of Seven, but
Don't compare that. That's like
no,
God
I'm
tier.
just
That's
saying
God
'cause-
tier. You can't use that as an
no,
example.
no,
You gotta
because
give me something else.
this is what a guy told me. I guess this movie, somebody wrote this movie back in the 90s. Hence why it takes place in
that's
the
why
90s.
it looked like that. Because I talked to Tristan.
Yeah.
I said I think this is a earlier timed movie. Like, cause you look at all the cars that they're using payphones and shit. So I was like, they're using from the past.
Yeah. Well, also
in the
in
beginning it says October 1990.
Oh shit! I don't know what I was doing to miss that part. My bad.
It was like the very beginning.
Oh no, I was awake.
Yeah.
I was awake from the beginning.
It was at the point where you're like getting settled for the movie, so you could have just missed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it took place in 1990. But
yeah.
Without getting like too in detail with the movie, so we find out later that Denzel or Deacon is kind of demoted because of something that happened in the past. So he's going back to.
I didn't get the feeling of demoted. I got the feeling that he just like left, like he just kind of skipped town.
Well, when I say demoted, what in the sense that he was a detective and then he went to just be a uniformed sheriff. That's what I mean by demoted, but not necessarily that the job did it, but he just changed. He changed fields or whatever. But he has to go back to where he used to work because he has to get some evidence. But then something happens with the evidence and it causes him to have to stay there till the next day. So he gets brought into.
So I don't think it's because of that. I think he. Oh no! I see what you're saying. Because it was like the setup for him being involved in that case.
Yeah, because
he had to stay for the evidence.
He was supposed to get the evidence, but they had to test it again. So the captain who he went to go get a signature from basically said, it's not going to happen till the morning, so you might as well stick around. So that's kind of how he gets brought into the mix with the murder case.
Right.
So, because what's his name? I don't want to call him this, but Big Tooth guy.
I just don't remember his name.
In the movie, it's Baxter.
Okay.
So Baxter, the detective, basically took Deacon's place as lead detective or whatever. So he brings him along to the murder scene because it's a serial, it's murders that have happened the same before. Okay, so he's kind of helping work the case.
So in these scenes, it seemed like he just had a problem with him from jump. I was like, what is his problem with Denzel?
Yeah, because he's just like, why didn't you ask me to move the car? Is all. I didn't want to. Yeah, like he did have some type of thing against Denzel.
Because he's like, when's you guys gonna come through and solve my case for me? It's like, why is he being so snappy towards him? I didn't get that part.
Do you think it's because that whole thing of like, I have your job now, and does he feel threatened by him when he's around?
But he didn't know who he was.
Right, he didn't know who he was.
Oh, he doesn't.
The other people knew who he was because he kept asking them like, "Oh, when is he gonna solve my case? Oh, where's he at? He's gonna do this." It was like, why does he have this attitude with him?
Maybe it was ego. Maybe it was just his personality. Like, I don't know.
Maybe it's like what Josh said. He felt like threatened. Like, oh, the big dog is back. So now I got.
Yeah. Like you don't have to know somebody that feel threatened. Like you just know this person used to have your job. Like, that's what I just assumed.
But he didn't find out who he was until he saw him walking with the other detective to the diner. So when he first saw him blocking his car, when he was at the press conference, he still didn't know who he was. Right. But he still had that like air about him. That
so he didn't like him. Didn't like him because he was black.
Is that what it boils down to?
I mean, I don't know.
The answer, right?
There's always got to be a reason, right? Just have the answer.
You can't figure it out. It's like because he was black.
Yeah, for real.
We're gonna use that credit card. Just charge it on that.
I know, for real.
Oh my goodness.
I just thought it was weird that he just like had this super attitude towards him. I thought it was weird that the sergeant had attitude, but I was like, you could tell something. There's a past there,
right?
But when he had attitude, I was just like, what is his problem with him?
Yeah,
and I didn't know he was the detective. I thought he was like a mayor or something when he was giving that speech.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody said like he's the best detective. I'm like, why is he giving this super speech? Like I thought detectives were low key. Like why is his face all in the front like that?
I thought there was one thing I had. Maybe I missed it. I thought. No, okay. Because it made it seem like it was a flashback. Because, like when Denzel, when he's in his cop uniform, that's present. But when he's in the suit, that's a flashback. And then I could have sworn there was a scene where him and Remy Malek were talking to each other, both in suits. But
there was a moment where he was in plain clothes, not necessarily a suit, but like just not in plain uniform. Clothes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that was like later on after he went on leave.
Yeah, he's supposed to be
yeah. Yeah, all right. Because like I said, he was in that cop uniform all the time. So I just assume that means
like
the president.
A park ranger.
Right. Smokey the Bear. So they go to the crime scene. They find the dead woman, and it matches the same MO from previous murders. Right. And Denzel's doing his stuff and everything. He runs into a lady who's working the scene too, and you could tell they know each other from the past also. And there was a moment when they're checking the body and stuff like that, and then the woman takes the plastic bag off the girl's head, and Baxter has this like weird reaction when he sees her face. Like seeing her face like really affected him. And I was like, something's up, like something about her look seems familiar to him. And then when I saw his wife, I was like, oh, she looks like the dead girl. Oh, so I thought that was going to go somewhere.
I didn't even catch.
You might have been asleep.
Yeah. That must have been one of the little things.
I know. I do.
It's the little things.
Yeah.
It's the little things, Lamar.
Yeah. They forced that whole fucking to say the title.
The whole fucking movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I did think that, like, yeah, the picture on the girl looks like his wife, but I didn't really catch that whole thing of him.
Right.
I just assumed he just
the dead body.
He has 2 daughters.
Not the picture.
The dead body.
Yeah, the dead body.
Oh, he's talking about the dead body.
Oh, yeah. I thought the picture of the girl was from the dead body when she was alive.
No, that was the girl who got kidnapped later on with jogging.
And that's the thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So that's actually the next thing I want to talk about. So we see a woman and a guy jogging. They split, and then you see a car go after her, follow her. And then the next morning, there's a missing persons poster on the cafe window. But usually with missing persons reports, don't they do that like 24 hours later?
48 hours or
something.
Yeah. Especially for adults. So I was like, what's the time frame? Like, was that supposed to be like a flashback, but not necessarily showing that this woman was missing also? Because that was too quick.
Yeah. And also when they go question that one dude who offered to walk her home or drag her home 3 blocks away, but she's all, no, I'm good. You remember that one dude, like, I don't know, did they? Because, no, I'm saying, like, did they ever interview him? Because that's the last person she came in
he never came back. It was like they just kind of forgot about him, like, fuck him.
Yeah.
So I think the placement of that was just weird, because it's like, there is no way that there's, I mean, unless the parents did that themselves, but still, that's so quick. Like, why would you think your daughter's missing, like, over a matter of hours?
So so she lived with her parents? I mean, I don't know anything about this girl.
They didn't elaborate on that.
They didn't say that.
Like, she's missing. Like, she had a red beret.
Yeah. That was the only thing really they said, was every time she goes jogging, she wears a red beret.
She goes jogging at night all the time.
Specific.
That's a very, between going jogging at night and jogging. I mean, at least it was kind of like, was it morning when that dude was jogging in the hallway at Fatal?
Don't bring that back.
I mean, I thought people just jogged in the morning, in the daytime.
No, a lot of people jog at like 2 or 3 in the morning. Because even when I leave here for work, there's this guy, he wears all of these fucking glow in the dark things and he's jogging. So people do that. But I just didn't like how specific they were with this red beret. Like, what? Like, how is that? I guess they had to tie that into the end of the movie, but that was like a dumbass thing to use. Like, she always wears a red beret. Like, that's the dumbest shit ever. Yeah. A red beret, not even a scrunchie. Like, but it's like, why this red beret? Is it her lucky beret? Why is this so special?
It's not lucky anymore. She need to take that shit off. Yeah, I'm just saying, you and I prefer to jog in the morning because, if you see a car driving by, you probably can make it out. Then at night when you can't really see shit and then somebody abducts you. She have headphones on, maybe. I don't know.
No, all she had was that red beret. That motherfucker was barking behind her, coming up.
So that happens that night. The next morning, Baxter takes Deacon to the police station because they found a person of interest. So he's interrogating him while while Deacon's watching over, and then he calls him and says something, and then Baxter mentions a name, and the guy they're interrogating like loses it.
Yeah.
And then
it's
later
Oh
on,
yeah.
Mary something.
Mary
Yeah.
Roberts, that name's important in the movie, Mary Roberts, but he ends up killing himself later because he's so distraught, because not only are they bringing that back up, he pulled his pito out to go pee and got put on the sex offenders list, so registry or whatever you call it. So so he ended up killing himself. He Deacon goes to see the woman who we saw at the crime scene. She's a coroner. So that's where he asks for that file. And it's the file of Mary Roberts and the other two women that were killed. And those are the flashbacks we're seeing throughout the movie of him working the scene, and it's 2 dead women on a boulder. But he's got pictures of 3 women. So she tells him, if anything comes up, I didn't do this. I had nothing to do with this. Like,
she said, I'm not gonna have your back again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have your back again.
Yeah.
And then at dinner, she shows him a keychain, and she was like, I still have this to remind me of what we did. Did you guys know what that was? I thought it was just like a flower.
No, I knew it was a bullet, because it's like the when they show the impact of a bullet, that's what it looks like. But I was like, what was the point in it? I knew it had to do with some kind of shooting, but it was like, what was the point in it?
Okay.
Yeah, it probably just passed me by. I was like, all right, they're friends. They got some history. That's whatever it is.
Yeah, history we'll find out about later.
Yeah.
You're right. This movie dragged along so much.
Yeah, that didn't bother me. I wasn't bored.
But like
I was intrigued.
It's like you and Katrina watched Law and Order. She was wide awake through the whole thing. Like,
nah, man, I've seen Law and Order episodes that have their shit together. They have the constructions, the structures there. This one,
you thought this was structured badly?
I'll say
I don't want to say badly. It's like a very slow burn, and
not until the end. Yeah, slow burn, and like to me is I always say this: if you have a slow burn, I don't mind that. The build up and the payoff better be worth it.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
Not worth it. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like certain things can make or break a movie. If all it is build up, and I would say that payoff needs to be worth it. And if it's not worth it,
but the problem is it didn't even seem like build up. It just seemed like a straight storyline. Because this movie, how long was the movie? Like 2.5 hours?
2 hours. Just 2 hours. Yeah.
11 minutes.
Fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my issue with it, and I thought he looked crazy, but when the words started coming out of his mouth, I was like, man, I'm not buying this shit. It's Jared Leto.
Jared Leto's character?
Yeah, Jared Leto's.
He does not. Guy?
Yeah.
So remember when I asked you guys about it? That's what I was talking about. I was like, the guy that looks like Jesus. Remember I was saying?
Yeah.
Didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, I thought because sometimes he does remind me of Jesus from The Walking Dead when he was alive. So I thought you meant
he was
alive.
I can see that.
When Jesus was alive.
But like I said, it's like his character was over the top acting crazy. The top acting crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was too obvious for him to be the killer if he was supposed to be the killer. So that's why I was like, he's not the killer. But then he would say little stupid shit to make himself seem like the killer, which I didn't understand. I didn't understand why he had the police walkie-talkie in his room. I didn't understand none of this shit.
Well, when he got picked up to be interrogated, he did say he was a crime buff.
So, and also when he went to the bar, did he call the cops and say, "Hey"?
I think he did.
Yeah, I was about to be the bartender, like be the bartender. Hear that shit? Like, the fuck are you talking about?
What are you talking about? There's a cop down. Like, how do you know?
Yeah, like you better give me that goddamn phone. There ain't no fucking false prank calls. They don't call my ass and ask me, "Hey, you got a false claim or something." You know what I mean?
I hated that. I hated his character.
Yeah, I didn't like his character.
I hated his character.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like, okay, that's like to me the detectives, whatever. But you got to get like Kevin Spacey in Seven. That's him doing that. That's where I was like, oh shit, this guy's fucking crazy.
But
I was like investing in him.
He seemed
crazy. But
this guy was like crazy for no reason.
Yeah, and that takes me out of the film too. It's like when your crazy guy is not believable.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be the one that makes you like, oh shit, like fucking Anthony Hopkins and Hannibal Lecter, and Silence of the Lambs.
That's boring.
Like, what's up? Nah, sorry.
No, you heard that?
No, man, no. You want to talk about somebody that's crazy, but
okay,
also
you know
comes
what?
off as a
You know what? Maybe I need to watch that now because I watched that when it came out. You gonna snap the carrot? That made you that mad?
Yeah, you better go watch that, Doc. Okay.
It made you that mad?
No.
He meant
I
that
watched
shit.
it when I was young.
I watched that a couple nights ago. That movie's hella dope.
So maybe I need to watch that again because I watched it when I was really young, so I didn't care about that type of shit.
Yeah, and the thing, like, the similarities, because would you consider Silence of the Lambs a psychological thriller? Because that's what this is.
I do, yeah. It's like it has some horror stuff in it, but it's a psychological thriller because talking about the minds of one serial killer talking about another serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is that you have somebody like Buffalo Bill, who's the fucking person that's obviously crazy as shit, and then you got Hannibal Lecter, the one who seems to be calm when he needs to be, but once you unleash him and he goes all out, that's when the monster comes out. He's crazy, but he knows how a crazy person thinks because he's crazy.
Let the tiger out of the cage.
He just be like,
like what?
The tiger out of the cage.
Yeah.
I just watched Superbad again. He's like, sorry, bro, the tiger got out of the cage.
What was I gonna say?
I'll watch it.
But yeah, no, I think those movies tend to be kind of slow moving. But the difference with Silence of the Lambs is there's a payoff. Like the killer's like,
Yeah. And
we know who the killer is. We see it and all of that. With this,
you just try to figure out, what the fuck.
It's got you thinking this and that, and it's like, is it this person? Is it that person? No, but
I'm just thinking about all like other movies that are considered like psychological drama that are slow burns.
Have you seen Insomnia?
I'm interested in going.
Have you seen Insomnia? That was a slow burn.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
That was a slow burn.
Robin Williams and Al Pacino, right?
Williams, Pacino, and Hilary Swank. And I mean, Robin Williams as the serial killer in that one, I thought did a good job. And it was cool seeing him in a different role like that because I've seen him in serious roles and I've seen him in, of course, comedy roles. But see him in a role like that and convincing when I'm not like, okay, I'm waiting for him to make me laugh. I'm like, oh shit, this dude is fucking, crazy.
Yeah. Right.
So like I said, I don't mind slow burns, but eventually you have to have like, especially when you're playing the psychotic character, you have to make him convincing. If he's over the top, you have to get a good actor that knows how to like do the right type of over the topness. And I would say I'm not a big fan of Jared Leto. I've only liked one film he's in.
What else has he been in?
He's been in Suicide Squad as a Joker, and he wasn't good in that. He was in Fight Club.
Requiem for a Dream.
Legend. Yeah, Requiem for a Dream. This movie called Dallas Buyers Club, I think.
Don't give me any more examples.
Yeah.
You've seen Requiem for a Dream, right, Lamar? With Marlon Wayans?
Say it again. What is it called?
Requiem for a Dream.
With Marlon Wayans?
And he's a drug addict along with this white guy.
Hell no. What the fuck?
You never seen that? No. Oh, write that down. Yeah, I don't have anything against Jared Leto, but I'm not like, oh, he's in it, I gotta see it. So he doesn't really do anything for me, but he's not like he doesn't turn me off of the movie. But
I mean, I mean, if I ever seen him, I'm not gonna be like, hey, you suck in that movie. I'm just I'm just gonna be like, oh, what's up? I ain't gonna see any movies. That's why if you suck in a movie, I'm not gonna watch your movies. But in real life, I ain't gonna say anything bad unless you're a fucking douchebag, and I know you are. That's the only time. But yeah, as far as an actor, I can say I don't really care for him in it. And so when I find out when I realized he was the bad guy in this, I was like, oh shit. Okay, I'll watch it.
I didn't know he was the bad guy as I was watching it, and he didn't show up yet. I was like, oh, he's gonna be the killer.
Yeah.
But
it's like he wasn't. But there were certain things that I caught on to while I was watching shit he did that they didn't explain. Like when he went to the bus stop and he took the newspaper and he put something in the newspaper. It was like, what the fuck did he put in that newspaper?
I didn't notice that.
And then why did he have the key to this field? You know what I mean? Like, what was the purpose in that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't notice those things. But
little things. You got to pay attention to the little
things.
Remember when they were sitting there watching? I don't know why they didn't know that he was on to them watching them after he called the police and waved at them, but they were still watching him. And then he was getting on the bus and he went by the kid and he took the newspaper and he put something in the newspaper and he folded it in half. Then he got on the bus. It was like, what the fuck was in that newspaper?
One thing I did notice is the guy in the very beginning, the one that was going after the young girl who was driving and freaked out and pulled off to the gas station. Was like, what's she doing?
Was fucking stupid.
I was watching him walk and I was like, okay, that's not Jared Leto's character because he had like a distinct walk. He like walked like almost like he was a cowboy that just got off a horse.
Yeah, with that limp.
So it's like, so it's not him. We see Denzel checks into a hotel where you can get, some company if you want. But
I have nothing to do with the prostitutes. Then he was like, would you want some company tonight?
So he sets up his own evidence board in his room, and it's 3 women, and one of them's Mary Roberts. I don't know if we see her name on that scene, but I saw it later. So I don't know if we were supposed to know Mary Roberts was one of these 3 women.
I don't know.
But he hallucinates, and the women are in his room, but the one is at his feet and the other 2 are like off to the side. So that was significant later, but we don't know why.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, was that a real prostitute, or was he hallucinating that the woman was there on his feet?
I thought he was hallucinating.
That was Mary Roberts.
Sucking his toes.
Yeah. Mary Roberts was.
So he did have prostitutes come up and do that.
That's what I was like. What was that about? Like, why was she sucking his toes? I didn't get that.
I don't know. He's losing it. I mean, I remember when he went to the corner. It was like he was talking to the girl.
Yeah.
While she was dead, and he has, they're like, I know what you did. You thought you should have done this, but you should have listened to that voice.
When he said that whole speech to her, I was like, he must be the killer.
I thought so too. I thought like they're gonna make it think like it's Jared Leto and then it's gonna be Denzel Washington. I thought that was gonna be the twist.
Okay, so maybe Denzel was the killer because at the end, the boots were in his room.
Those boots were from another case.
But those were the same boots. I think
those were the boots that he was in town to pick up. So in the beginning, when his captain says, I need you to go get these boots because the woman who...
It was boots? I thought it was like clothes. So it was
it was boots. It was boots, and they were very distinct looking boots. So they needed that so the woman can give testify that this guy did whatever he was being accused of. But he ended up not needing them because something happened and the guy ended up taking a plea deal. So he just left the boots in the room because it didn't matter. But
I think he set up the room for evidence reasons. The way he did it, because he left everything on the bed.
Was it against himself?
That's what I'm saying. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I don't know, but
when he gave that speech, I definitely thought it was him because he was like, and you should have listened to that thing in your head to say no, don't do this, but you let him in anyway because it was that chance. Some shit he was saying. I was like, why is he saying all of this?
Yeah, you guys thought Denzel. I thought Baxter. I thought the detective. I thought that was going to be the twist because of his. Just little things like when he was at home with his wife, and then when he saw the woman's face, like I thought maybe he had something to do with it.
I mean, yeah, like Rami Malek, he does. I thought it'd been too easy because he looks just kind of like he would be an undercover killer, like the way they, and I'm like, nah, it's too easy. Then, yeah.
I just don't understand it. Like I said, little things. But Tasha, you watched it twice and you didn't come to no conclusion.
For what?
For who the killer is.
No, I have like thoughts of where the movie was trying to do, but not who specifically did it.
What if it was Denzel? Like how he accidentally killed that one person, killed that one girl, and he got away with it. And he was like, man, I love the thrill of killing somebody and trying to get away with it by almost getting caught.
So I'm going to be a copycat killer.
So what if after that, he's like, I escaped this, but let me do it again. Only this time, I'm not going to do it in front of other cops.
And I'm gonna make this detective think it's this guy.
This guy, yeah.
So from the point when they were watching the guy and Denzel broke in his house, the movie just got completely unrealistic. Everything that happened after that was just so unrealistic that I kind of tapped out.
So do you mean like when he got into the car with the killer, so-called killer?
He calls the payphone and he goes to answer, and the guy comes walking up as slow as he walks. He's like, "Boo! Oh, I didn't mean to scare you. You wanna? I take you to her." I was like, "Why is he talking like that? Why isn't the detective calling this in? Why isn't he waiting?"
Yeah.
All of this shit just made no sense because he was like, "Your butt buddy's not invited." Like, what did he just say?
He said something. Yeah, he said something like that. He's all, "Just come in. You got your gun. Come on in."
You know I'm not armed.
The fuck? He don't know, but like, what? He could have something under the seat. He could have had a gun under the seat or some shit. Yeah. The fuck?
All of this shit made no sense. All of that shit was it was unrealistic.
Maybe the detective was so consumed with wanting him to be the killer and needing proof that he wasn't thinking straight. So he got into the car thinking he's gonna find this missing woman. So
yeah, I think he got just as wrapped up as Denzel was, because they were saying like he was so wrapped up that he had a heart attack and he left his family and all of that shit. So I think he was heading down that same path. Like he was obsessed with it. But it was still stupid.
I mean, like whatever reason he got into the car, okay, but that is so stupid. Like if he got into the car, all of a sudden he's knocked out, wakes up and he's buried alive, like that one movie. Like some dude trusts the serial killer, I guess, and he wakes up and he's in like a fucking coffin underneath. So, if you trust somebody like that shit can happen. So,
he could have chloroformed him and
for real, yeah. Done something to him that he wouldn't like, waking up like, oh man, my butt. Don't get into a car with a stranger, because if you wake up the next morning, your butt will really hurt. Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, butt buddy.
Your butt will hurt, buddy.
Your butt buddy's not invited, because I
think that was so unnecessary. He was like, "Oh, your butt buddy's not invited." What?
So Denzel just went away to get some coffee, right?
He went to go get 2 hours worth of coffee. The corner was just right there.
They find Jared Leto's character's name is Sparma, I think. Sparma's his name. So they find him. He's a suspect because the appliance store who was supposed to fix the woman's refrigerator was in like the area. So they whittled it down to 2 people. So they started focusing on him. They end up bringing him to the police station to interrogate him. And Denzel sets it up in a certain way on purpose, which I don't know how he knew. I guess he's just worked these kinds of cases already before. So he kind of knew how certain killers react to seeing pictures. So I think he was trying to see if maybe he would get aroused, and he did. So Denzel kind of lost it when he asked him. He was like, "Why is that?"
I was asleep for that.
That scene was kind of like, all right.
But was that after Denzel went in to grab all the? No, not when he took his garbage, the trash, and he kept on looking for stuff.
I remember
was it bite marks? Was it bite marks on the pizza or something that he compared? Yeah, because on the victim who was bitten, the person was killed. Yeah, so that was another thing he did. So he was pretty much obsessed with trying to get this guy to be the killer, or trying to find out if he's the killer.
So this movie was like, it was like the crime version of Tenet. If you think about it.
No. My head didn't hurt after this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think like, what do you mean by that? That's what
I don't know. I just want to throw it out because there was so much stupid shit happening in this movie. There was so much stupid shit. I don't know how these things led up. Like when he went across to sit and look out the window, like what was this? What was that for?
What part?
He sat in the spiderweb chair and he looked across at the apartment.
Oh yeah. Like he went to the other apartment, across, not across, but like the other side. Breaks into it, sits down, and it made it seem like was he seeing if somebody was watching or whatever? I don't really know.
if you can see the woman's apartment from there. So I don't know. They didn't say if this was who he was, but there was a point where him and Baxter were talking at a bar and they were profiling the killer. So that could have been part of the profile in his head. Like he would have been watching this woman for a while. He would have had easy access to watch what she does on a daily basis. He would have been able to see it from this apartment. Let me go over there and investigate.
Yeah, but then again, they don't go back. They don't go back to it afterwards.
It was for no reason.
No,
yeah,
no, they don't.
I understand if there was somebody living there, and he went there, they weren't there anymore. Like if maybe it was a crackhead that watched it was the witness. I thought they were going with that route. Like
if there could have been anything, the chair has spider webs on it. Like it's been there forever. So it was like
I'm not sitting on a fucking chair. I'm not sitting on a chair with spider webs. All right, I don't care if I'm stalking somebody. I'm not. Fuck that. All right. And if them spider webs is on the chair still, I didn't sit down in it. They would be gone. So, but it's like it made it seem like somebody was watching from up there, and they didn't bring it up. They didn't bring it back up ever again. No.
Yeah. So the one thing that I skipped over that happens before they pick him up to interrogate him, which I was like, why? The whole car scene where he drives and stops at one point, looks over, and Jared Leto's in the car. And then he goes over to where the car was, and the next thing he knows, he looks over and Jared Leto's on the other side of the road. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, when they kept switching.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck was the point in that?
Yeah. That part was strange. And then, but he does, so I guess when he...
What was the point?
He did say, because Jared Leto was just chilling in this one spot. So he calls Baxter and asks where one of the dead women were found. Like what was the marker, the mile marker? And it was where Jared Leto was chilling in his car. So he's like, oh, okay, he's going back to the scene of the crime because that's what, killers tend to do. So that was supposed to be the point of that, but them going back and forth was just like, why? Like a cat and mouse thing, maybe? Who knows?
It was pointless.
But so they interrogate him. He gets a hard on from looking at the pictures. Denzel does his, thing that he does in movies where he's like going after somebody and he's like slapping the wall and talking shit to him. They find out that Sparma confessed to a murder like years ago and gave all these details about the murder, but they ended up having to let him go because he was nowhere near where the murder happened. So they had to let him go and he was no longer a suspect. So that kind of made me think he's not the killer, but he knows who the killer is. That's why he knows all the details.
Right. And that's why I say with the whole newspaper thing and the whole, it was like he was communicating with the killer almost.
Yeah. So that's where I was like, oh, okay, that's where it's going to go. He's not the killer, but he knows who it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not where it goes either.
Such a fail.
Nope.
They decide to lure Sparma out of his home so that way Denzel's character can go into his home and try to, find something. He's like, I just need 5 minutes. So that's where he did he went to the bar and realized that the detective wasn't coming. So he called in, officer down.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, 2 hours from now.
Yeah. So then there's this whole thing where the cops come and Baxter's trying to help, but they're like, this is not your jurisdiction. And he looks over and homeboy's just sitting there drinking to-go Shirley Temple.
and he's just like...
And Denzel's old ass is climbing on the roof.
Climbing on the roof.
Surrounded apartment. He gets away. The apartment is surrounded. He gets away.
And that's the thing. Were they at Sparma's apartment or an adjacent apartment?
I thought it was his apartment because they went back to the apartment to watch him.
But no, because the apartment they went up to was upstairs, right? Was the second floor, right?
But when the cop cars were driving, they drove past where Denzel went in and out.
No, I thought they.
The cop car drove past the stairs to go up to the door. Well, so that's why I was like, what apartment were they at?
He didn't call it to his apartment. Maybe he just called it to the apartments.
The complex?
Yeah.
So, okay. But Denzel still
Either way, it was stupid as fuck. And he climbed all that, got out. Either way, it was stupid.
Well, that's why I got confused. Where I was like, if it's the second floor, but he was at another place where Jared Leto came out. Like, no, I thought it was like I didn't know he was living in an apartment because when he came out to take out the trash, unless it was
when I was looking at the car.
Yeah. Unless that was like him coming downstairs from his second floor apartment just to throw it away. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was kind of confused with that. And
I hate that guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to see the car. The other car was for sale.
And
I just want to see the trunk.
Also, did Denzel like pick the lock, or is this the one where I hate to bring up Fatale again, but where he just goes in?
No, we see him pick the lock.
Okay, because he went into that house 2 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he picked the lock.
Okay.
So he after he gets off the roof, he gets into the car with Baxter, and Baxter asks him, "Did you find a red beret?" And so that's where Denzel is informed of a red beret.
Being that I grew up with a sister, I know red berets come in many forms, so I don't know how he just decided on one. Like, this is the red beret. The berets I knew were little, so I don't know where this big ass beret came from.
So he brings up the red beret. They end up, so they're outside of the apartment again the next day. After everything's cleared up, they're back outside, and then they follow him. He catches the bus to go to the strip club, and then he's there all day, goes back home, and Baxter like loses his shit because he's hoping to catch him do something.
Yeah.
So that same night, that's where Denzel goes to get the 2-hour coffee, and then
and some watch batteries.
Watch batteries. So you see, there's a moment where the camera's like, it's almost like somebody's looking out their window down, and you see Denzel walking off. So it was like Sparma is like watching him leave, and I think he even calls the phone booth. That was my assumption, that he called the phone booth to lure.
Because, like I said, because he called it and it's ringing. And then what's his name answered? Then he's like, "Boo!"
Yeah,
it's like I said, he with his walk. How does he get there so fast? As soon as he says hello, he's like, "Boo!"
He's right there.
And did Jared Leto have like a little belly on him, or was that like a pillowcase or something?
He had a belly, and he had like a weird walk.
Well, yeah. Because I know him for being skinny. I was like, is that like a pillowcase in here, or is that actually him putting on?
Well, you said he's a method actor, right? So maybe he got a beer belly.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But he looked super skinny in his face.
Yeah,
so I doubt he was able to just get a belly.
Like that, he looked convincing enough, but when he started, like I said, opening his mouth and started talking,
it was more annoying than anything.
It was more annoying, yeah.
Just to back it up, when Denzel goes to the place that fixes refrigerators, and like the owner guy's acting all suspicious, but then he keeps looking in the back, and the guy's head is turned. And then he pauses for a minute, and he looks again, and he's just like, and then he walks out, and then the guy spins around. What was the point in that?
Yeah, it was almost like he knew who he was, kind of like the guy before, the one that ended up killing himself.
Yeah,
because he knew who Denzel was. Once he heard the name, he was like, "Oh, I know who's here." So I thought maybe this guy knew who he was too, and was kind of like ducking him so he couldn't see him.
Yeah, I didn't.
But that wasn't the case either. So I don't know. That scene was kind of.
And then me and Katrina said it at the same time, because when he said, "What was the last meal she had?" he was like, "Roast beef." And then when the guy walks in, you see the sign that said roast beef. We were both like, roast beef, but that didn't lead anywhere.
So it was like leaving you little things to make you think it was him. But I mean, it still could have been. That's the other thing too. So
I wish I wanted to know. I wish they would have ended it with "This is the guy."
Yeah.
Or cliffhanger, maybe. I don't know. Just like they did with Joyride, I guess. I think.
Joyride,
yeah. Well, like, wow. I think wasn't it like
no, Joyride is the reason I lost my job one time. That's why it's a sore subject.
Oh man, well, I mean, okay, I'll try to find another thing. Well, it's one of those things where they make you think, or like, how about this phone booth where they make you think it's one person, and then you find out it's another person that's on the phone or walks by, like something like that. But
you mean leaving unnecessary clues, like
yeah, or like a surprisingly twist that it's not one person. Like we're made to think it's Jared Leto, and then we realize like you said he committed to a bunch of crimes that he didn't do, but then they let him go. So
I feel like
I thought
like
he's just taking credit for it.
I feel like Jared Leto was so force fed to make the audience believe it was him that it was impossible for it to be him. The way they just force fed it, like giving you all these force clues, it was like it wouldn't feel right for it to be him. I wish they would have gave us something. Just give us something.
Well,
I mean, they gave us stuff.
They gave us a whole bunch of shit. They gave us a bunch of whole shit to make.
They gave us a bunch of little things that meant
hence the title of the movie.
And here's another thing that I heard a guy told me when he read up about how I guess back in the day they wanted like Steven Spielberg to do it and they wanted Clint Eastwood to do it. I was like, oh shit, I wonder why they didn't do it. And he's all, yeah. And there's a reason why they didn't want to do it.
They probably read it.
They read the script like, okay, the fuck? Hey, I think you got some pages missing, or maybe this is a different script, all right? Because this has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I will say Denzel was definitely Denzeling in this movie. He was Denzeling. Like he didn't lack anything. It's just the story made no sense.
Yeah.
The story made sense. There just was no closure.
What story made sense if there's no closure? Then the story doesn't make sense.
Not all cases get closed.
All right.
But say that. I'd rather you end it and give me a monologue like, and the killer was never caught, and it's been this many. I'd rather you do some shit like that.
Yeah, like, or maybe they want to make a sequel, but they probably shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
The little things and then the big things.
The little things and then the major things.
And the last one will be one more thing.
And one last thing.
Yeah. And what did we learn? Not a damn thing.
So he shows up at the payphone. He ends up getting the detective in the car with him, and then they go to this what would you call it? A dirt field?
He didn't try something hard. Like that. He didn't try hard.
No, all he said was, "Get in. Come on now. You know I'm not armed."
He lured him with telling him he'll take him to the girl.
He slammed him, showed the picture. He said, "Ooh, you don't want to know what happened to her." He was like, "Tell me where she is." Yeah. Ooh, okay,
he said, "I'll take you to her."
Okay, I'll take you to her.
I mean, here's what I would have done. I would have been like, "All right, I'm going with you. Open the back seat. I'm gonna pull out my gun. Any funny business."
That's what she said. She said, "Why didn't he get in the back seat?" I said, "Why did he get in the car? Why didn't he drive his own car?"
Yeah, why you like, I'm gonna follow you. Yeah.
But it made me uncomfortable.
Like so many.
The guy was talking to him. He was talking to him like, "Come on, man, just come with me, follow me."
All seductive.
Yeah, I was like, "Why?"
So was that the reason why he was just like, "You're gonna come into the car. I'm gonna come to."
Yeah, that's how he was talking.
I mean, it's like his days from being in Bohemian Rhapsody weren't over. So he sees some guy like Jared Leto, and he's like, "I gotta go in because he's really charming," and
that raspy voice is just it's doing something for me.
Yeah, you were on 30 Seconds to Mars, and I was playing what's his name, Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody. So there's a connection of us singing. Only I did lip singing and you did real singing. But,
and why did he throw the coffees? Why didn't he just run with the coffees? Oh, what you said? The guys from 30 Seconds to Mars?
It's hot.
Yeah. He's the lead singer.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's the leader for 30 Seconds to Mars. Yeah. You know 30 Seconds to Mars?
I like that guy.
That's what I was.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't like that. I
fucking love 30 Seconds to Mars. I didn't know.
Really?
I don't know what 30 Seconds to Mars song, but I know of them.
Yeah, I know of them. I can never get into.
I learned about them. I learned about them through Rock Band, and then after that, I was listening to that. They're good. That's why he looks like Jesus. In 30 Seconds to Mars, he looked like Jesus. It's the same guy. I didn't know that. I was Katrina when she gets here.
I had no idea you knew that band. Like, you don't know white actors, but you know white bands. A white band.
Listen, America. It's not. I don't know the names of white actors. I know who white actors are if you describe them.
Like Nicolas Cage.
I don't know their names.
Unless it's Nicolas Cage or Edward Norton or Leonardo DiCaprio.
I know the important ones. I take back everything I said. He did great.
Nah, hell nah. Nah.
That is a testament though to his acting, because Lamar did not know who he was.
But I mean, that's not a testament, because
he was out of character. That's
could have put anybody from any other rock band that I know, and I would have been like, "What? That was him? What?" Like,
it's had the same reaction. Okay, so like I said, they go to I guess a dirt field or whatever you want to call it, like out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Denzel knows exactly where they're going.
He happened to have a key to. No, Denzel followed them.
But he was so far behind them.
But he was. I had a question about that, because he was following them enough to be following them, but then he would follow like on a path, like they'll be up here and he'll be down here. So it's like, why is he following them like that?
But then there was one point on the freeway where he's like trying to figure out which way to go, because
was he doing that?
Yeah, he was, because there was an exit and then a junction. And or it was two junctions.
Wait, in that scene though, Josh, did you catch it? Because me and Katrina said that looked fake as fuck. Because remember, he's waiting at the light, and then all of a sudden the car turns, and then you see the green screen like of Denzel in the back. The cars go.
I think I
I saw that. I did notice that. I was like, the background looks weird. But no, there was a point. So we see Jared Leto and Baxter take the one junction or exit, whatever it was. And then when Denzel's following behind, he's looking at that one, but he's also looking at another one, trying to figure out which way to go. And he just so happens to pick the correct one. And then if you think about it, he gets there and digs 2 or 3 holes before he ends up cracking him over the head and killing him. And Denzel still hasn't caught up to them.
Nah.
So there was a good amount of time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so jumping to that, he's fucking with him. He's like, oh, she's buried over here. Okay, so she's over here.
I didn't get wait, so was he talking about like his he was burying, he's talking about like the victims? Because he was fucking with him, saying like, you know, your wife and your kids.
No, it's just the one. The one girl.
Oh, okay.
Because he was like, she's buried right here.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? He's doing
this. You suck at this.
Yeah. Warm. Oh, hot.
Oh, you're hot. You're blazing. I couldn't say how he talked. I couldn't say it.
So yeah, so he's fucking with him.
And you know, this dude's digging a hole, his back with his gun. Like if Jared Leto wanted to, could have taken that gun.
Katrina thought he was going to take the gun.
You could have done anything to do, because Robert Malik is not paying attention. He's not being aware. I understand he's trying to like figure out, you know, where to dig up.
Nah.
But if you have your gun right there where anybody can get it, you're looking, took it out, shot you, you're dead.
I feel like he shouldn't even been digging. He shouldn't have been digging the holes.
Should have been none of.
I don't understand.
Oh, maybe he should.
That's how desperate he was.
But still,
why couldn't you pull out your gun and be like, why don't you dig, or I'll shoot you in the leg? You have to, like I said, he's unarmed. You have to.
Why not get to the spot and then say, get on the ground and cuff him, and then call in everybody to come dig these holes? Like, I don't care how desperate you are, you're still a cop. Like at the end of the day,
you got to be smart about this shit.
Yeah, I didn't.
Maybe he was. Well, was he supposed to still be investigating? Because remember, they said the FBI was going to take over if they didn't get anywhere with the case, and then the captain was like, FBI is taking over. So maybe he wasn't supposed to be doing what he was doing. So he was trying to solve it on his own, and he was working with Denzel, and he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
but I'll say this. But then again, okay, you don't have to call backup. But also, like I said, instead of me digging all that shit, I would like, you better dig this shit up right now.
That's
fuck with me, or I'll hit you. Yeah. So I don't have to call. Like, okay, don't call it up, but still, you can do that. There's so many different ways and smarter ways you could have done that. You know what I mean? Like I said, get behind him while he's driving, because this dude probably has. I don't know. You don't know if this dude has some tricks up his sleeve. All right, or some knives up it. I don't know. It's like
it was like he trusted him immediately.
Yeah, without no reason at all.
Yeah,
no reason at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you're desperate, but you still got to be smart about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't be hella stupid about it. Yeah. All right. So, are we getting to it? Are we getting to the climax?
So Denzel shows up, tells him to put his body in one of the holes. He leaves in Jared Leto's car, dumps the car, packs up the apartment, and then goes back to the scene. And then we see that Baxter has dug up hella holes, like thinking the body's there. So he's like really trying to find this woman's body. So Denzel helps him bury it, cover all the holes, and tells him, this never happened. You're going to tell your captain that.
So my thing with the flashback, when I said everything got unrealistic, so you watch a lot of Law and Order. It's when a crime happens, they investigate on the scene, right?
What do you mean?
They like before they move the body, they kind of make an assumption of what happened.
Oh yeah.
They have the caution tape. They have numbers.
They kind of look around to say, okay, and that's kind of what he did at the murder scene earlier in the movie.
I'm saying, so when Denzel has a flashback, he shoots the girl, and then they cut to being at the coroner when the coroner's like, I'm gonna say she died by stab wounds. There was no stab wounds. She was shot.
Mm-hmm.
So on the sign, on the scene, so they're saying on the scene she wasn't shot.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so
that was the cover up.
I was wondering how many people were at that crime scene.
It wasn't that no, because I see where you're going, Lamar.
I thought it was like, you know, there's that one dude with that mustache, and another dude, the mustache dude, with bald head. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like there was hella people there, so it's like if you shot her in front of all the people, you know, were they all in on it, saying,
not even that. I'm saying before you pick up the body, you have to investigate the scene.
Yeah, pictures, all of that stuff.
Yeah, you can't move the body until the scene's investigated. So you can see the bullet wound because he shot her like right here.
Mm-hmm.
I think wasn't it straight into the chest?
So you're saying they were gonna try to make it seem like she was killed by that one dude, the murderer. Okay,
stabbed to death.
Stabbed to death.
Yeah. Like the scene said she was shot. Like if you're on the scene, you saw the shot wound. You didn't see no stab wounds.
Yeah, and there was enough people there that would have heard a gunshot because they did show people like dusting the boulder, so there were people there. Yeah. So
I don't know.
So the dusting of the boulder, that could have happened afterwards. That could have happened because there was only them three out there when he shot the girl. So the crime scene investigators could have came later. But what I'm saying is, when they picked up the body, there were no stab wounds. So how do you how do you
do that? Yeah, saying like in a report saying she was stabbed.
Yeah, because it's not like it wasn't like they only reported 2 bodies and then this third one, was kind of a secret and then came up later. She was part of that murder, that crime scene.
Yeah.
So
you would have to take her back, stab her 3 times.
Yeah, that's
make the crime scene of that crime scene time. Like,
had to stab her up, like, or Denzel had to stab her on the scene.
You take that bullet, you take the bullet out, you sew it up or something. I don't know, but like, this is where I was thinking, like, okay, that would have been an interesting thing in the middle of the film, and try to like that whole thing of trying to cover up somebody would have been a more interesting take on the film.
Right.
Instead of trying to figure out if Jared Leto was a killer or not. Like, to me, I thought that premise, it seems like it was like pay it forward, only like to help people escape being arrested for killing somebody. Like somebody helped Denzel Washington out, and then Denzel Washington helped Rami Malek out. I still think I don't know. Like when I saw the flashback, I see her coming out, and she's a victim. She's freaking out, so of course she's gonna be running out. So you got to be careful to where it's like if you see somebody walking, like, oh snap, you shoot on this side.
He got distracted. Somebody called his name, so he turned around, and he just happened to turn around. They like you just see a dark figure, so he shot. He turned around. It was like instinct.
No, I was like, she got blonde hair. I'm pretty sure you could have saw that.
But it was dark.
There.
No,
it was dark. Yeah,
it was dark. He couldn't.
I could see it. Yeah, I don't know. I still,
You've been in that kind of situation before, so you know.
Well, turn around, like, oh snap! Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were a deer. I mean, I don't know. I mean, either way, it wouldn't make the movie any better Nah. So, yeah, we see. Yeah, he kills accidentally. I still think he probably killed her on purpose. It's coming around. It's coming around for us.
that is. We do see that flashback when he drives up and sees Sparma's body dead. That's when he flashes back to him killing the girl.
Yeah.
So he helps clean up the scene for Baxter, and then tells him, you need to tell your captain that, the pursuing Sparma, they didn't go anywhere, and then you need to take some time off. And he's basically telling him, you cannot revisit this at all. You can't go to his apartment. You can't do anything like that, because that's gonna bring all of this up, and then you're fucked, basically.
And then you get the title. It's the little things.
It's the little things that get you in trouble.
It's funny how he tells them, don't look up this stuff, and then he does the same thing in the beginning of the movie. Don't bring up stuff from the past.
Okay, so that's why I said I understood the Brett angle. He didn't want him chasing demons, basically. So he wanted to put his mind at ease. He wanted him to think like, you killed the killer. That was the point of the Brett. So I understood what he was doing for Big Tooth. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like you still went back and did the same shit.
Yeah. Unless like, he's trying to tell him don't do the same mistakes I did. But then again, I don't like putting in a lot of work for a movie, putting in a lot of thought for a movie that didn't put a lot of thought for itself. Yeah. It didn't earn my thought processing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like thinking, why the fuck am I doing all the thinking for this film? It's got to be 50-50, not 25% and then 75%. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing how I feel right now.
Yeah. So they part ways. Deacon leaves. Baxter, we see that back at the police station, the FBI has taken over. So Baxter has taken some time off. One of his colleagues.
He quit.
Huh?
He quit because the guy was like our new detective.
Did he quit? I thought he just took time off.
No, they made it seem like he was done.
Because the guy that was talking, he was the FBI. He wasn't a detective.
Yeah.
He was the lead FBI agent that was taking over the case.
So remember that there's that one girl that was helping them out in the beginning. Was she FBI or was she a detective?
No, they were all detectives in the police force, but
so was
the captain
she
told.
Yeah, well, I was saying, was she helping the FBI at the end? Because
she had to. They had to work with the FBI at that point because they were getting nowhere with the case. So that's why the FBI stepped in and took over. So they now have to work for the FBI. So that's why I was like, he just took time off. I didn't hear him quit.
I thought it because he said the guy said our new detective, so it made it seem like he quit the job.
No, I know he was the new lead for that case.
Yeah. Maybe he did what Denzel did, just decided to become a regular cop or a forest ranger or whatever.
Because I feel like if he would have quit, that would have been an issue. So I don't know, but so he's at home.
Yeah.
And one of the detectives, one of the colleagues, brings something to the house from Deacon, and it's a note along with the red beret.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're like, oh shit! This whole time it was Jared Leto's character, at least in my head, because I'm like, he found the red beret.
I said he gave him that beret to ease his
You thought so?
That's what I knew. But like I said, just to reassure what I thought, it was stupid. But to reassure what I thought, he still has the pack of berets that he's going to burn.
Yeah.
He could have just bought the one beret and threw away the pack. Not like somebody's going to go dive in the garbage. Like, oh, somebody left this pack of berets and took the red one.
All these berets for me.
It was stupid. That was to reassure what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I appreciated it.
Yeah. So he has the red beret. And the end is Denzel burning all of Sparma's stuff in the barrel of fire. And then he goes to his trunk and he gets like it's almost like it's a metal box. And he opens it and it's empty, right?
Yeah.
What was that box for? What was in there before? Because he ends up having the flashback to being in the coroner's office.
Okay,
so find out everything. So
that was my question too, because when he was in his name is Spermicide. What's the guy's name? The Jesus guy?
Sparma.
Sparta.
He said Spermicide.
when he went to his apartment, he moved the rug and then he lifted up the thing and he opened that case. So I was
Is
like,
that what it was?
I thought he found the Barrette in that case.
Uh-huh.
But then later on, I was like, nah, I was like, they used that scene to make you think he found the Barrette in the case. But it wasn't. I was like, Denzel's going to send that Barrette to ease his mind. Like,
so was that what that box was? It was the box from under the floors, from under the floorboards?
I think it was.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Because he moved the floorboard, and then it was like I think it was that box because he opened it, but they don't show you what he saw when he opened it.
Well, the first time he broke in there, that's where he finds it, and it's a bunch of newspaper clippings.
Uh-huh.
So he must have just took the whole thing. But we don't see him. Did he take them out and burn them before he threw the box in there?
I don't know why the box is empty.
Yeah. So that's what that was. But he has the flashback to where he's at the coroner's office. We see the thing that was the keychain. It's the bullet. Yeah. And she basically says, I'm going to write it up as multiple stab wounds, basically covering Denzel's character's ass.
No sense.
So, and then it ends with him throwing the packet of Barrettes, and you see the one missing red one.
Oh, it was from him? Oh, okay. Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just didn't give a shit because I checked out. I checked out.
I appreciated that part. I said he's doing that to stop him from doing what he did.
Yeah.
Because it was like you could tell in the scene he was so fucked up, like he couldn't even move. He was staring at his daughters, like all he could think about was that. Mm-hmm. It's like he felt like he killed the wrong guy. So Denzel let him know, like, yeah,
that dude still was a fucking pervert. I mean, compare to like the victim. Big Teeth? Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Compared to the victim Denzel killed, who was the blonde hair girl.
Yeah. To
Jared Leto's character, who seemed like he was a fucking weirdo to begin with. You know, he was
over the top weird for no reason.
Yeah. Like I think he would have done something bad eventually. So, Big Teeth, whatever his name, Big Tooth,
Baxter.
Bastard. I mean Baxter. Backstabber. I mean Baxter. Okay.
Bastard and spermicide.
I just watched Superbad. It says spermicidal lube. It's like, oh, thank you for your spermicidal lube.
So my thought was Jared Leto was probably actually the killer, but they were doing all these things to like make us go back and forth. And then with them saying that he committed to this crime, but he was nowhere around the scene, so they let him go. And then at the end, he was like, I've never killed anybody in my entire life. Maybe he was just that crazy or that, I don't know, but it was in fact him that did the killings. They just didn't confirm it for us.
I believed him when he said, I've never killed anybody in my entire life. Because he said, you can either keep digging or we can leave and you can forget this even happened.
Yeah, but I think it's called, I think it's a sociopath that will sit there and be like, I would never do anything like that ever in my life, when in fact they do it all the time and be convincing.
But just for the fact that he said, or you can keep digging. And then like you said, Denzel left and came back and there's like all of these fucking holes. So he kept digging and he never found a body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the body could have been somewhere completely different. He was just fucking with him.
Yeah. Well, because
that's my thought.
Well, there's also like the whole thing of like, you know, him confessing to a murder and there's no evidence to put him, like, I've seen certain movies where like some dude is obsessed with like hella like crime scenes or whatever and tries to take credit for something they didn't do. Mm-hmm. So I thought that's what they were going with, you know,
or they know how to manipulate it.
And, okay, and then the weird shit was the landlord took the milk and the beers. It was like, what?
So she didn't take them, or no, she could have after.
He said my son drank the milk.
Yeah, but I took that as the son was in the apartment drinking the milk.
Either way, it was like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I'll say this: HBO Max streaming. I'm glad I didn't see this in theaters for like whatever money it was. So
because it was released in theaters too, right? You could either watch it at the theater or on HBO Max. I think that's what they were promoting.
I don't think so with this one. I think this one was strictly HBO Max.
That's what it said though. That's how they promoted it.
don't
if
know
that's
what
the
day
case,
that
I
would be.
feel I am
Yeah.
sorry for anybody that goes to theaters and
I'll be ready
pays
to
whatever
kick
money.
something over.
Okay.
This shit is at home streaming.
So
Yeah.
what I was wondering is, was the point of this movie, the point of Denzel's character, we kind of already said it, that he didn't want Rami Malek's character to live with not solving this case, finding the killer, so he kind of helped him.
That's what I got from it.
But at what point did he decide, like, did he see it in his eyes early on, like, oh, okay, he's consumed with this case, so let me help him out?
I think he saw the obsession as it was building up. Remember when he lost it in the car and he looked kind of like, "You all right?" It's like
But
he could see.
he had to have known sooner than that.
No, I think Denzel has always been obsessed, and then he sees this guy is doing the same shit he's doing. So it's
He's
kind of like
recognizing it.
it's like a let me stop you where you. I'm gonna continue to be obsessed with this, but I want to stop you from being obsessed because he knows what he lost. From
and after knowing when he got there and he killed Jared Leto, I think that was like, oh shit, okay, that's the final straw or whatever. Like that's the final, like he crossed that line that I did.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's a different thing because, like I said, the way that Denzel killed somebody, he killed somebody on like it was accident, but it wasn't like he was being influenced. Like Jared Leto was asking for it, and he turned around and hit the shit with the shovel.
It was asking to be killed.
It's
what Josh is saying is two different situations. So Denzel accidentally killed this girl.
Yeah.
Jared Leto thought he killed the killer. So it was like it's like had he known he didn't kill the killer, he was going to be obsessed just as much as obsessed as Denzel.
Yeah.
Denzel is more obsessed because he feels like he owes that girl. That's why he said you.
Yeah.
It's like he killed the girl, so he owes her to find the killer.
Yeah.
He didn't want what's his name, Big T, to be obsessed as he was.
And in a way, I guess this was closure for him because the assumption is it's the same killer because it's the same MO and everything. So Jared Leto being killed as the suspect killer, who they're like, okay, he killed him. Rami Malek killing him almost gave him closure too.
He helped it because he felt like he killed the wrong person because he never found the body. So him getting that barrette and that note saying no angels, because remember he was like when people died, they're angels that talk to you.
Angels.
So you feel like you owe them.
Angels or angles?
He said angels.
Angels. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he said like you owe them. So with him giving him that barrette, it kind of like it's like to free him of that, like you killed the killer. But Denzel knows he didn't kill the killer, so Denzel's like, I'm still on the path, but I want you off of it because I see what can come from it.
Yeah.
But he did say so when Baxter goes to Denzel's hotel room and he finds the evidence board with the pictures of the girls and everything, Denzel tells him, he's like, rambling on, but he tells him, he was like, I know the symptoms, basically like talking to him, like, I see what path you're going down because I've been down that path too. So
bottom line, I wish I had more hands so I can give this movie 4 thumbs down.
What has 2 thumbs?
No, it ain't that bad.
I'm gonna say what has 2 thumbs and didn't really care about this movie. This guy. Right.
The movie had so much potential. It went somewhere it shouldn't.
I didn't have too much expectations. I didn't watch any.
I didn't watch any previews.
There was some ratings. I don't go by ratings. I didn't watch any reviews. I didn't read any reviews. Anybody. I went in there like, all right, let me just check this out, see where it goes. It could be all right, and it was less than all right. It was all right.
It was
strong.
It's not all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
Yeah. I will say the first time watch, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this because I was like, I didn't hate it. It wasn't bad, but I can't say it was good because the ending wasn't, great. And then the second time watching it, I was like, okay, the movie itself, I think is good. But still, there's no payoff at the end. So that kind of affects how I feel about it. So that's my overall thought.
The movie was 45 minutes too long. And then that the ending did not pay off for anyone. Like I said, I appreciated what Denzel did for Dude. But if you're watching a movie about a killer, you want to see who the killer is, or give me a hint of who it could be. They kind of just They kind of took this all away from me at the end. And like, you don't know who it is, but that's the end of the movie. Good night.
Well, that whole thing, about like finding that they had to cover it up to make it look like she was stabbed. Like, I thought that was an interesting plot that maybe they could have explored, during halfway in the movie. That's what I thought. It was like, if you're going to do something like that, you might as well bring it in earlier,
But then, the little things are, how can you say stab wounds if she's not stabbed?
How do you get away with that?
That's the part I didn't understand. Because I was immediately when she looked at the body, she pulled out the bullet. I was like, I knew that was a keychain. But then she was like, I'm going to write it as she was stabbed to death. And I'm sitting there looking like, but she's not stabbed. Like, how can you say that? How can you say that?
Do you think it would have been different had they not had that plot linger as long as it did? Like, maybe if they would have said something about it a lot sooner, so you kind of know, okay. Because I think what they were trying to do was kind of like let us know like something happened, but we're going to give you pieces here and there to let you know what actually happened. Do you think it would have been different had it been given to us sooner?
I think if you're gonna go like a little Easter eggs, a little heads up of where it's going, then I think maybe I would have been all right with it, because it just came, like I said, it just came out of the blue. It just came one minute we're trying to figure out who Jared Leto's the killer or not, and then it takes us to something else, and it kind of just was like, all right, I feel kind of dissatisfied with the movie I was watching.
I feel like it didn't matter if it was earlier or later. It's that it didn't make any sense. For you to just say he accidentally shot her, and then the coroner says she was stabbed to death. That it didn't equal. It doesn't make any sense. So when they did that, it's like, okay, you see, they covered up for him, but it was like, but that doesn't work in real life. That does not work. You can't if because they have the coroners that come to the scene. Nobody can touch anything until I've looked at the body.
Yeah.
I write a report right here that says she was shot. Then you take her in, and they're like, no, she wasn't shot. It was stab wounds. Somebody's gonna look at that like, what the fuck? It can't be. Stabbed. It's
Somebody goes looking into that, and then you're fucked.
Say she was found shot. If you're gonna say anything, say she was found shot.
Don't
say she wasn't shot at all. It was stab wounds. That doesn't make any sense. Any sense? Or plant the gun on somebody else. Tell them we found a gun on the scene. You know what I mean? Like, make it more realistic. That whole shit made no sense.
Wait, so was there a crime scene before the blonde girl got shot in the flashback?
I think the 3 detectives were on the crime scene.
They were the boulder with the 2 women.
Okay. Yeah. What if the blonde hair was the killer in the flashback, and Denzel actually killed the right person?
Shut up, Josh.
I'm just saying, he's gonna kill one person and then leave
Josh,
the other victim around. What?
So you're saying what they should have done was been like, Denzel's a hero. He killed the killer.
I'm just saying, you're telling me they killed one victim and let the other one roam free, or she escaped. I'm just saying, or just made it think that she escaped. I mean, this movie tries to throw in a lot of fun.
What he's saying makes a lot of sense, because it's like, what is she still doing there?
I mean, yeah.
What little thing I peeped? What little thing I peeped was when he was watching his daughter swim in the pool, the little girls were holding on to the floater on each end, and it looked like the staging of the women on the boulder.
Oh, damn, you were thinking deep.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy. But
okay, so what Josh is so I hate to say Josh is making sense, but while he was talking shit, it does make sense. Because when the detectives walked up and touched the girls, they were like, the body's still warm. This just happened.
So the killer's still there.
So the girl's running, like, trying to kill Denzel, and he turns to shoot her, and she's really the killer.
That's the twist.
So Josh, is that where you were thinking it was going to go?
No, not really. But I'm just saying. And that'd be funny if they find out she's the killer, and there'd be no reason to make up the knife wounds, because he killed the one that killed all the other girls.
Yeah.
But it's too late. It's too late. They find out, somebody made a false statement on the documents. We got to figure out why.
I'm upset that angle works. That it does work though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just talking shit, but yeah, I'm like,
but
yeah,
it makes
you know what?
sense.
That's good.
Because it's like, why is she there? Why and then why is she so quiet until they come up?
Yeah, unless she's another.
Where's she running from?
What if she's like somebody like Jared Leto, who's saying she's addicted? She likes crime scene junkies or whatever, like seeing crime scenes or whatever. There's so many different things you can go with.
She was just in the area.
Yeah. Oh, she was. Yeah, that's right. Oh, maybe she was a prostitute.
She was a hooker.
You know.
Okay, and then another thing that bothered me, because he shot her, she flipped over, and the shot was in her lower back. But then when the coroner's looking at her, the shot is like up high on her chest, and she pulls the bullet out.
Maybe the entry was this way, and it went out.
But he shot her
this way and that way. You mean the bullet went like this?
He's tall, and he could have been like.
It would have just gone straight
down on her like, get your ass on the ground. That's fucking stupid.
Hey, who was Denzel's ex-wife in the movie? What was her? I'm forgetting her name.
She's in something else. She's in other shit.
Yeah, I recognize her too. Her and the coroner.
Yeah, the
coroner's in a couple things. Snowfall, yeah.
Okay, Snowfall. Okay.
The lady's from Snowfall too. The wife is from Snowfall. The wife is the drug dealing lady at the club.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're both from Snowfall.
Yeah. So yeah. I didn't hate it.
1.5 stars.
That's funny because Josh gave it a higher rating unless he's about to change it.
No. 2.5. I'll give 2.5. Yeah.
Like I said, it started off so interesting, and then it just went down a long ass path to nowhere.
Yeah. I was saying this is probably one of those movies where they're like, well, the acting was superb, and it's not so much like the what do you call it? The movie itself. It's more so like the characters and the acting that's going to be praised. I thought the movie was good. I just was upset with how it ended, but at the same time, I'm like, a lot of stuff doesn't always have an end, and cases don't always get solved. So I kind of tried to give it that. So
this movie was like history class. Like when you learn about Julius Caesar, and then the rest of the story you don't give a shit about. That's kind of like what.
Yeah.
It was just long.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a one-time watch for me. That's all. Mm-hmm. Then yeah, I guess I didn't like it. I didn't hit it with a passion like, some movies. Come on. Yeah.
Would you recommend it to anybody?
Anybody that has nothing to do and like watching movies with Denzel?
I'd recommend it to all the Denzel fans because they will love it. They don't give a fuck what Denzel does. He's Denzel.
Yeah. Or if you just like any type of like, crime, drama, mystery, whatever, like no matter what it is, if you're just into anything like that, then I recommend it.
I have a Denzel fan that didn't like it.
Which one was that?
Dale.
Oh.
This was a 2 hour and 15-minute version of Law and Order. But
not as intriguing.
Who rapes the girl at the end.